Franz, Tristan, and Goga all made it to the quarterfinals of the EuroBasket yesterday. Let's break down how they played and how it's going to affect the Orlando Magic this upcoming season. This is the Orlando Magic Nation, your source for all things Orlando Magic on YouTube. For Magic fans, by a Magic fan. I'm Edwin Valentine, and I want to thank you very much for clicking on this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. If you're so inclined, hit that like button, share the video, drop a comment below on how you felt they all played, and click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the content that I produce. Let's get started with Franz's stats. Franz in 35 minutes. This is the longest he's played in any of the games so far. Obviously, a do or die game where they were behind a lot of it. In 35 minutes, he scored 23 points. Not very efficient, going 5 of 17 from the field and 0 for 3 from 3. He did get 7 rebounds and 4 assists. Wasn't the most efficient game for Franz. He did take what the defense was giving him though, and a lot of his shots were within the frame of the offense, which is great. They didn't get out in transition as much. Slovenia did a really good job of making sure they slowed that part down, and they were taking a lot of the take fouls that happen in FIBA once Franz was in the open court. So Franz lived at the free throw line, as you see there. He shot 13 of 14 from the free throw line. So even though he wasn't shooting particularly well, he was able to contribute, and he continued to have an impact on the game by making sure to continue to force the ball, to drive the ball, to get fouled, and to draw defenders for him to be able to have those 4 assists. This is the type of game that we actually want, weirdly, in a game. Obviously, there's the narrative that he doesn't play well in big games, and that this is why we have to have Paolo, because Paolo does play very well in big games. But I contend that he played pretty well. Yes, his shot wasn't falling. That's just the way it is sometimes. Great players sometimes don't play well, but the thing that you want to see is that they don't back down from the challenge. So even though he wasn't shooting well, he continued to put his head down and get to the foul line. He did continue to shoot the ball. And if you watch the game, he made one of the bigger shots in the game late in the fourth quarter, where he hit a jumper off the elbow. And we're going to see it in the film a little later on. Gets the ball, pump fakes off the closeout, and he gets in a little bit closer and calmly hits that jumper. So no bigger shot than that one. That's the type of play we want from a superstar. That even if they're not going to be shooting well, it happens sometimes. It's that they continue to make an impact. They continue to push forward. They continue to work and impact the game in a positive way for their team. So even if it wasn't the most efficient game, I think it was a very good game for Franz, because we always want him to continue to have as many pressure packed games so it becomes second nature. And then once we get to the playoffs, then he's able to be a bit more calm. As we saw last year, he played much better in the playoffs last year than he did the prior year, and probably playing in the Olympics and playing in the World Cups before and playing in other Eurobaskets probably is all starting to condition him to be in pressure packed situations. So not a great shooting day, but again, I think he played pretty well. Now Tristan again, his role wasn't very big, and I guess that's just the way it is. I predicted it would get bigger, and apparently I'm wrong. So he only played 12 minutes in this game, 5 points, 5 big points to be honest, because it was at a time when Slovenia was trying to pull away from Germany. 2 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, and that one was a massive one. And again, we'll see it in the film from half court. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, and 1 steal. So very small role for Tristan. He didn't play much. He just came in every so often when Franz was injured or when Bonga was in foul trouble. Then they put Tristan on Luka to try to slow him down. No one really did. Luka is Luka, and you just got to make it difficult on them. So Tristan did his best defensively. So in that respect, again, he's a good defender. He's a good defender. I think that's something that he's a bit underrated on, and that's something that we can lean on for the Magic this upcoming season. Definitely off the bench. He wasn't really involved in the offense very much. As you see, he only took 3 shots. So it was his focus, and the reason he was on the court yesterday was to play defense and to put another body at Luka. and it seems that this is going to be his role. His role is going to be the same exact one that it was for the that it will be for the Magic, which is someone that comes off the bench, someone that's Franz's backup, and just going to be a secondary ball handler whenever they need him, and be a jump shooter or a spot up shooter, and make timely cuts when he's needed. So didn't get the bigger role ultimately, but this ends up being a good thing because it really starts hopefully solidifying that this is the role he's going to continue to be, and that's how he's going to succeed in the NBA by having this role. Of course, expanding it as much as he can, getting better at shooting from the top of the key, getting better at shooting off the dribble, all those little things that he needs to get better at. But where he's at, he's got a good foundation, and again, he's just building on that foundation. And lastly, Goga. Goga had an interesting game as well. As lately, it's been a Goga roller coaster really lately. But Goga, in his 23 minutes in his game versus Finland, he scored 14 points on 6 of 9 shooting, very efficient, which was great. He hit another 3-pointer, 1 out of 2 from three. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. So he definitely was making an impact throughout the game, and that's something that it was a good thing to see because his role on Georgia's team is way bigger than what it is on the Magic. I think that Magic should be carving out a role for him where he is more involved in general, being more involved. He's obviously very involved in the defense, but I think he can take on more responsibility on the offense as we've seen. I think if we continue to have the framework that we've had for him, especially emotionally, like I mentioned in his player profile, how he can't hang his head and whenever a play doesn't go his way, or he slumps his shoulders, or he just kind of gets out of his game whenever things aren't going well, which obviously is something that it is what it is. But as you saw with Franz, when things aren't going well, he continued to push through. So that's what we hope that Goga can do as well, to continue to push through. So I was like, oh man, that didn't go well. Let me try to get a rebound and get the ball back for our team so that I can hopefully get another opportunity. Or that I think is the thing that we're looking for him to continue to develop moving forward. However, in the framework of the Magic, it seems that they're able to keep him in a pretty even keeled state. If you watch the games during all of EuroBasket, Goga was quite emotional. Now, EuroBasket is very important for a lot of these players, especially for those that really love to play for their team. He obviously does, and he was really excited and really animated throughout most of the tournament, good and bad. As we can see, sometimes the emotions got the best of him, and sometimes he was able to harness them and make the right plays like he did in the round of 16. So you gotta take the good with the bad a little bit, but let's hope that we can carve or put a bit of structure and we're able to kind of keep him in a place where he can just move forward with the good parts of the emotions and try to minimize as much as possible the bad parts of the emotions. However, the play, that's the one thing that's off to the side, but the play that he had on the court, I think is very exciting for the Magic because Goga has been a guy who scores what, 7 points a game, 6 points a game, 8 points a game, something like that. But we've seen multiple times, and we'll get a kind of a recap of all everyone's stats in EuroBasket so far. But we've seen that he's able to now stretch the floor, hitting threes. We've seen him work. We've seen all the work that he's put in the post. We've seen a lot of the just you can see all the work that he's done and the developing he's done so far just in the last few months. So hopefully with the Magic in the system, once he gets back with the team, then he's able to continue that work and continue that growth. And I contend that he should start. That's always going to be my opinion. I think Wendell's been starting because we needed someone to stretch the court. But if Goga is going to be stretching the court now, I think he should have the opportunity. All the advanced metrics say that he is a better rebounder, he's better shot blocker, he's better at defense as well. It is pretty close. I'm not saying that it's that Wendell is a scrub or anything like that. Goga is just that little bit better in a lot of the things. Just the biggest thing was the offensive end, being able to stretch the court. Now, if Goga's hitting threes, he shot in the 30% range. Well, 37, 38. Again, we'll get to the numbers. If he can continue to do that, That's something that Wendell wasn't able to do last year. Now, hopefully, Wendell is able to bounce back and get back to the numbers that he had 2 seasons ago. And if they both can do that, yowza, that's really going to help the offense. So I think Goga should start. I think he should have a more expanded role, and Eurobasket Goga really is a thing, and I think he should be trying to incorporate a lot of the things he did in this tournament into the Magic. Obviously, you're not going to dump it down into him very often for him to post up as they did every so often with Georgia, but once in a while, I think it wouldn't hurt just to kind of keep the defense honest, especially when he gets in the pick and roll and there's a switch and he's got a smaller guy on him. We should be punishing guys for our height. The whole point of Weltman picking all these big, tall guys who are able to play defense is hopefully you can also take that into the offensive end. And since there's an advantage that we have when in our size, we should be taking advantage of that. That's something that Franz has been trying to do, and that's something that we should try to do with Goga. All right, let's do a recap on all their stats. If we're looking at their averages so far for their play through the quarterfinals, Franz is averaging 21 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists on 48% shooting. His field goal percentage took a hit with that poor one last game, and is 29% from three in the tournament. Sounds familiar. It's unfortunate because even the shots that he shot yesterday also again were within rhythm, were within the offense, and he's just not making them right now. But he's shooting 86% from the free throw line. And again, 13 and 14 is going to help that percentage. Tristan is averaging 10 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist on 57% shooting, 50% from three. So that's very exciting. Mostly from the corner, but he is starting to hit a few of them from the top of the key and off the dribble, and on 86% free throw shooting as well. Goga finishes his tournament with 16 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists on 58% shooting, 36% from three. 36% from three. If he can do that on the Magic, then again, I think he should be the one starting. He should be the one having that role. And Wendell would be an excellent backup to add to the team to play alongside Mo. I think that would really, really help. Either way, I think they should be incorporating a two big lineup off the bench just because that's going to help mitigate some of the challenges that Mo has on defense by having either Wendell or Goga be the power forward for Mo or Mo be the power forward. Either way, playing with Mo while we can get that offense and hopefully get a little bit of defense as well. And his free throws at 65% from the free throw line. So something else for Goga to continue to develop on. But an excellent tournament for Goga. He should be very happy. His country should be happy and proud of what they've done. Now let's go to the video. A little disclaimer, as always, FIBA is very strict with their copyright laws, so it's very difficult to capture their video and edit it and put it on YouTube. So the way I've been able to kind of get around it a little bit is to continue to add little pauses in between the footage. So you're going to see that the film is going to stop a lot. So I just wanted you to know that in advance because it could be a bit annoying and a bit jarring, but that's just the reality of the situation. If I were to just press play, they would have pauses in it. Every so often, I'm going to pause to also talk about something from that play, but just wanted to give you that heads up beforehand. So here we go. Franz's first play. So we're going to start off with Franz, then it's going to go to Tristan, then it's going to finish off with Goga. So Franz doing his little probing thing that he does. He's able to turn. He shoots. His jump shot really wasn't working for him very much yesterday, except for that big one he hits at the end. Even again, the driving lanes weren't there, but that was a nice cut coming off of the corner at different points of the offensive possession, he is in the corner. I think he shoots okay in the corner, so I think we might want to keep him there every so often so he can just sit and get the practice of catching and shooting from there because he really needs to develop that part of his game. Now here, this is another reason why you could be over in the corner, and if you hit that shot a bit more, then you'll be able to hit the closeout to be able to do the same exact thing. But Tice makes a nice play here, passes it over to Franz. Franz comes in from the outside. Franz with the head of steam, pushing it against Luca. Foul call. I put one of them in there because he was almost always getting fouled on drives. So just wanted to show you the type of fouls he was drawing. I'm not going to put all his fouls on there because it was a lot. So here he's going to set up Tice, him and Tice. Tice gave it to him. He gives it back to Tice. So they've been playing together for a while. So it was pretty nice. Here, this one, only 5 seconds left on the shot clock. So he kind of had to shoot. Good form, just missed it. Again, into Tice. Nice bullet pass, super easy. So he was facilitating, makes a couple nice plays there. Nice little spin move, three over in the corner, catch and shoot on that one. But he was still moving. He didn't really have his feet set, so that's why I think he can really develop that bit. I think he can shoot from the corners. I really do. And again, with the geometry of the way we're going to have our offense, with probably Paolo initiating or Desmond initiating, or at points, obviously, Franz initiating, the other guys are going to have to start shooting from the corners. So that's going to be the big thing that hopefully they continue to work on in training camp and get better at for this upcoming season. So here goes kind of there's a little Chevy shove, and the guy flops a little bit, but he hits that push shot. That was one of the few push shots that he hit in the game. As you saw, he only hit five total shots, but he was that one was one of them was a super nice one. The guy trying to sell the call jumps out of the way. He's not that strong just yet, and he hits that one there. Another little spin move here to try to get to his hand. He didn't finish with his left. There's been a lot of games in the tournament that he's finished with his left very well. This time, again, by going with his right hand, he ends up bringing the defender into the play. So he was contested there. I'm not saying he was for sure going to make it with his left hand, but by shooting with his left hand, because he's so long, it's so much harder for the defender to get there to try to alter that shot. So I think he should really be trying to focus on that left hand. Here again, doing his probing, this time against Luca. Takes his little drive, misses that push shot. Franz again facilitating. Him and Tice, they're boys, is another one. Franz gonna try another one of the little push shots and miss that one. So we're getting into the second half here, and at that point, as you see, Slovenia was still in the lead for most of the game. Here's another one of his push shots. He just was just a little off in this game, but he did have 7 rebounds, so he still continued to put in that effort, and the ball eventually gets in. Here he goes. Luca had 4 fouls at that point, and he just misses that one. That was one of those that you were surprised that he missed. He forces this one a bit. The second defender comes. He didn't see him. This is the one that's the big shot. Comes off. Nice in rhythm, off the elbow, seals the game for Team Germany. As you saw, a lot of the shots were shots that he normally makes. He just didn't make them in this game, and it just stinks because it's gonna continue that narrative that in the pressure situations he's not so efficient. He doesn't play as well. So hopefully now that they've advanced to the semifinals and they're going to be playing a team they've already played before and he did really well against in Finland, hopefully he's able to start quieting some of those issues or quieting some of those comments. So now for Tristan. Tristan's video is going to be very short with only 3 shots in total and really no blocks, no steals really to talk about. So here, 1 second left in the third, and you see Slovenia up by 7 at that point. So they were really it was a battle at that point. So here Tristan from half court, he shoots it and it goes in. So that definitely gave them a lot of momentum going into the fourth quarter, where of course they end up outscoring Slovenia over the course of the fourth quarter. So here Franz drives, draws the defense, and that's where Tristan is there for the gimme. So Tristan, small role, not a lot of film, unfortunately, for him in this one. So hopefully in the next game, he's able to have a bit more of an impact, especially he played Finland last time and he didn't have the best game, but he did score in double figures. So hopefully he can have that the second time in the semifinal. Now over to Goga. As we've talked about before, early in the game, they like to get Goga involved. So here's his first shot, less than a minute into the game. That wasn't the smoothest of hooks, so he missed in that one. But he comes back, blocks that shot, and they're able to give him the alley oop there. Ball out, wide open. They continued to leave him open, and he shot it at a pretty good clip. So that was surprising. But this is a breakdown in their defense. He's gonna go, and that one he misses it, but super smooth, super confident in shooting them, and that's what we really need. Somebody who's gonna have confidence to shoot, because last year, by the end of the season, it did start to feel like guys didn't want to shoot anymore because they had missed so often, and they talk about that all the time, having confidence to continue to shoot even when it's not going well. So Goga ball out. Goga did a good job of passing and affecting shots. There was another block there. Now it's another wide open three. He hits that one. That's his 1-3 of the game. So we have a pick and roll here. Marketing is not paying attention to Goga. Tries to hedge back. Goga's behind him, but unfortunately, poor Baldwin had a real bad game. Doesn't get the ball to Goga there. Goga, spin move, one-handed push shot, bank off the, so the bank was open last night, and he ended up making that one. Pass right in the middle there. So nice pick and roll. So Georgia did a pretty good job. They were staying in this game for a long period of time. We'll see what happens in the second half there, but Georgia, they were playing their game. Unfortunately, Finland was getting out in transition. So that would have been something that if Georgia would have won this game, they would have played against Germany, and Germany would have done the same thing. They would have just run them off the court. So they did their best. They just couldn't prevail, unfortunately. Ball inside to Goga, easy dunk. Pokes away that ball on defense. Here he has the ball again. Instead of trying to shoot, this is why it's great to start hitting 3-pointers, because the defense has to adjust. So defense adjusted. He has a defender in front of him, and now they left one of his teammates wide open. That's that's why you have to hit these shots, and with him hitting them, it really opened things up for him and his teammates. There he is cleaning up the glass there as well. So here's the play that ends up getting him disqualified from the game. Baldwin with another shot, another miss, unfortunately. His Goga's elbows up, and it hits the guy. Hits the guy in the head. Of course, they're being very careful with guys getting hit in the head nowadays, concussions and all of the other things that we've learned along the way. This one didn't feel malicious. I get it. It's called an unsportsmanlike, and he didn't get ejected because it was an unsportsmanlike foul, though, right? That's the thing that we have to realize. It wasn't a flagrant two that he got immediately ejected for. He got disqualified because he had already had a technical foul for arguing a call that was a foul. That I understand you get frustrated and you're in the moment, but he got a technical, and then because of the unsportsmanlike, that's why he got disqualified. So that's just a little tweak in FIBA, and that's why he got disqualified. So he ended up having to leave the bench. They were hoping for him to be able to stay on the bench for him to at least take in the game. Georgia, they worked so hard to get it down to 6. Then one of the guys hit this not lucky three, but just kind of last second heave of a three from almost a logo, hit that one. Then this play happens. So they get 2 free throws because of the unsportsmanlike. And then Finland went out and hit another three. Game over, basically, at that point. Goga on his way out, getting some love from the fans, which is great to see. And then the thing you don't really want to see, only in that you hope that his hands are okay. A little upset. I mentioned it in the live yesterday. Like, shouldn't arenas have like a little area that's padded right at the front there? So if a guy comes and he's upset, he can hit that, because even in the finals when LeBron broke his hand because of punching a wall, like, we should have something there to protect the guys from themselves. So that is the end of Goga's night and the end of his tournament. But to recap, so far, I think has been great. EuroBasket has been great for the Orlando Magic because the 3 guys who've been participating have either been expanding their roles a little bit or entrenching their roles. And the role that they're going to have on the Magic is the one that they have on their national team. So For Goga, Goga's role on the national team is way more expanded. He's shooting threes. He's a vocal leader. He's the one that's kind of orchestrating the offense at different points. You can see him pointing his guys to where they're supposed to be. So in that way, it's just good. Like Goga looks a little older than he is, but he's only 25, and he can continue to grow and continue to develop. And I hope the Magic are able to carve out a role for him that is more than just third string backup that they might trade because they would have him as a trade chip. I hope that's not the case. I hope that they see all that he's done in EuroBasket and they try to start not drawing up plays necessarily for him, but they start to incorporate him a bit more in the offense so that he can continue to flourish, start hitting these threes for the Orlando Magic, continue to block shots, continue to play defense, continue to rebound, continue to do all of that. But if we're able to get a few more threes in there, or again, just even to bring his average up from 7 to 10 points a game, that's really going to help the offense and open it up. And every point we get is going to be a blessing just because of how our offense has been in the past. Obviously, our offense is going to be better, but we want to make sure that we allow guys to continue to develop so that they can be the best that they can. For Franz and Tristan, for Franz, it's this. He's basically the main guy on Germany. He's him and Schroeder, so it's the same as it is on the Magic with him and Paulo. He has the ball as much on Team Germany now than he did when Paulo was injured last year. He's orchestrating the offense. He's the one that's been the go-to scorer at times. Schroeder's had up and has had an up and down tournament, and Franz has been the one has been more consistent along the way. Obviously, the last game wasn't a great one, 5 of 17. No one's really hoping for that, but the 14 free throws, the continuing to move, the continuing to facilitate, continuing to get on the boards. So this is the third straight game I think that he's had at least 7 boards. So those are all the positives that we can take, and having more pressure situations, it's something that it's just invaluable for when it's time for the playoffs. For Tristan, it's much more same for him. His role is identical of what it will be for the Orlando Magic. I had hoped it would expand a little bit, but in the end it's not gonna, and he's basically doing the same thing. So being in the corners, playing defense, being the secondary ball handler, that's what his role is going to be on the Magic, unless of course there's some injuries or anything and he gets thrust into either the starting lineup or an expanded role off the bench. We shall see. The team is going to be deeper offensively, so hopefully that kind of rubs off on everyone, and he's able to have an uptick on his offense as well now that he's getting incrementally better in shooting from top of the key or the wings and doing it off the dribble. So we'll see about that. If I were to grade the guys on their performance this game, Franz B+ for me. He was still very forceful. He still was facilitating. He still got on the boards. He still did all the things that we were hoping for Franz to do in a big game. Obviously, we would hope for a better shooting performance, but for me, B+ did a great job on there. Tristan, he hit that half court shot that actually really did propel Germany to a big fourth quarter. So we'll do C+. He played his role. Didn't have anything really negative that happened for him. He just kind of was there, blending a little bit in the background, which is something that I hope he doesn't do very much for the Magic this year. That happened far too often last year. But C+, I'd say for Tristan. And for Goga, for me, it was a B+. Obviously, he's gonna every so often get into foul trouble, which is what happened here. He got into foul trouble because technicals count as personal fouls in FIBA. So when he had that one foul, of course, he got the technical. So right there, he went from one foul to 3 fouls. Then he couldn't play the rest of the first half and didn't play the beginning of the second half. So while he was on the court, however, very impactful. 2 blocks of steal, rebounds, assists, scoring. He did a little bit of everything. So this was in his expanded role. Goga did well, and that's all we can ask of them. Do the normal YouTube things, hit that like, share this video, drop a comment below on how you felt the guys did in their games yesterday. And if you're so inclined, hit that subscribe so you don't miss out on any content that I produce. Thanks again for watching the video, and I hope you're having a great day.